Listen. Listen, minstrel companion. Listen to my words and compose a song with them. A song you will sing everywhere. A song you will teach to your peers, so that they can teach it to others. Until one day, perhaps, when the roads will be traced between our two worlds, someone from mine will hear it and tell it, so that the memory of this company, or rather of this band of madmen and its great deeds, will live on. If none of its survivors would manage to return. So, listen. That will pay your place among us for your travel. I was born in a small village, on the edge of this region that we call the Marches. My father was a lumberjack. From the moment I was born, my destiny was sealed, by the arrival on our roof of 2 mountain eagles. They stayed a week, and returned every year on the same day. When I was old enough to understand, thanks to the stories told by my dear Babia, I knew that at 12 years old, I had to join the order of the servants of the mountain eagles at the fortress of Silver Claws. Like all the young girls of the Marches, designated like me by the eagles from their birth. The order is composed only of women. It perpetuates an old mutual agreement between humans and eagles. It watches over the great mountainous frontier and fulfills the role of messenger between the kingdoms of the known world. The novice sisters learn to develop their skill, to speak to the eagles, to build a relationship of mutual service and trust. Then they learn to send them on missions as lookouts or messengers. And the day comes, when they meet the great mountain eagles to become their rider. To become a servant knight, and perhaps to fight, if the eagles accept the cause. Finally, once knighted, they go to serve in one of the fortresses of the order, among the Marches, or with a king of the known world. I had a happy childhood. But one day I turned 12. The separation was not sad. For my parents, my destiny was a miracle. A lot of honor, and they would never want for anything. The order would see to that, and it was better than a village marriage, even with a blacksmith. As for me, thanks to the stories of my Babia and the lessons of the priestess, I knew the importance of this order, through its role played in the Great War of Union, which marked our world so much. Before the birth of my Babia, it was one of our patrollers, who reported their arrival. Of that huge army, of unknown, monstrous, and barbaric beings, that men ended up calling orcs. It was our order, which followed their progress, through the passes and valleys, of the edges of the Great Barrier. It was our order, that noted the destruction of the first villages, without any pity, or prior demands. It was thanks to the rapid decisions, of our Great Mother Superior, that the kingdoms of the known world, were able to organize a response, without wasting time. Messages were sent, to all the kingdoms. To all the principalities, to all the clans. To all the human. And dwarf. Or elven peoples. Everywhere. Assemblies were called. And councils were gathered. Decisions were made. And proclaimed. All this, coordinated thanks to the tirelessness of our eagles and knightly servants. Everywhere, the general army was proclaimed. Everywhere, the warriors had to leave their women and children. And join their overlord. Or their clan leader. To constitute the largest armies ever assembled until that date in known lands. All this was thanks to our knightly servants. Thanks to our messenger eagles, which made it possible to coordinate this immense effort, and which reported the devastating movements of the enemy deaf to any discussion. Then came the time of battle. The two armies, face to face, for a decisive outcome. If you were part of our world, minstrel, you would know everything about it, through the songs, to the glory of the heroes, who perished or not on this day, illustrious for eternity. Our leaders had chosen to launch the assault in the setting sun, to dazzle the enemy, and on the belief that the orcs had poor vision at night. What a terrible mistake! Our horsemen launched the attack, but they failed to break through the enemy lines, which were much stronger than expected. And when our infantrymen attacked, they had no more success. The melee was terrible. Savage. Without pity, on one side or the other. They fought for a long time. Losses were increasing. The outcome was compromised. It was from our order that salvation came. Thanks to the ambassadors, sent in secret by our Great Mother Superior, to the Guild of Alchemists, who usually kept away from the affairs of the kingdoms. They agreed to deliver Greek fire, which our knight servants brought to the battlefield, just in time to crush the enemy, in a rain of fire falling from the sky. The stories of the chroniclers report that it took several minutes for our people to realize the victory. The carnage and losses were immense. Then, joy broke out. Intense, total. Sealing a lasting friendship between kingdoms and peoples. The orcs had been massacred. A few surviving bands tried to escape through the mountains, but our night servants and eagles tracked them, guiding the mountain clans in pursuit. Aware of the enormous role played by the Order in these events, I arrived at Silver Claw Castle with a heart filled with pride. My years as a novice were happy years. Between lessons, exercises and development of the skill, then later, learning weapons. The years passed quickly. Studious and carefree. With great friendships. Finally, at 18, I was inducted as a servant knight, alongside Rusek, the giant eagle who had chosen me. Meanwhile, old questions still remained unanswered. Who were these orcs? Where had they come from? Were we definitely safe? Or could they come back? Were they obeying a leader, or a dark power, who was plotting revenge? Opinions differed. We have answers now. Sometimes, I imagine that after a busy life, but all in all normal, for a knightly servant, I would have ended my days peacefully, in command of a guardian fortress. This ending seems very improbable to me. I could not imagine that destiny would take me so far, in distance, but also in experiences, in friendships, joy, love, and also in mourning, losses and suffering. Will I ever see my marches again? Today, I'm barely 35. Do you hear my voice? It used to be clear. This is not the only scar that this journey has brought me, just as it has for my companions. Much has been done, but the task is not yet finished. So listen up, because if we win, but don't survive this final leg, or if we die on the way back, it will be up to you to tell the story of how we saved the world. We have time. We are waiting for companions and friends. My name is Yerainia, and this is my story, our story.